a provincial netball player as well as a South African sevens player. So now, how are you today?
I'm well, thanks. Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you for joining us. Let's start off with, okay, well, was your main sport. There's no doubt about that, looking at it back. How did you get involved in netball? And looking back at your career, I know that in our private conversations, you did tell me that you want to get back into netball. But let's look at what you've done in netball so far. Let's talk about your experiences. What joy has it brought you? What has it taught you over the years?
Look, I mean, I grew up with it from literally whenever I can remember, because my mom still is a coach. So I grew up next to the field watching everyone play, so I just kind of fell into it, it's part of the family. For me, I could not imagine my life without netball. I'm definitely getting back into it next year again. I'm going to give it took about 3 years break. And, well, 2 years actually, sorry, 3 years. Because it was 7. And this year I actually focused a little bit more on my career. Because netball at the moment is giving us a lot of options with careers and life. So next year will definitely be, the year that I give it a go again.
Definitely. So now let's talk a little bit about the fact that you did play overseas. You played netball overseas. Let's talk about that experience and how did it help you to develop your game?
Yes, so I got an opportunity to go play in Australia in Perth for the Southeast Demons. It's just a provincial team. I couldn't get any higher because I didn't have the right visa. So that was kind of a struggle, but to be honest, I wasn't on the level that I was supposed to be. So it was a tough year. I had to work, I had to coach, I had to drive quite far to get to the training. So for me, that was more like a learning curve. That's all about. But for my netball, I think it was kind of a turning point for getting to the next level to make me a better player. So I wouldn't change that for the world. It was the best experience ever, and the venues that we played at was so amazing. It's just, we played at venues that had 55 netball courts.
So that's incredible.
Yeah, that's just when you stand on that court, you get goosebumps just from standing there.
So now you played provincial netball both in South Africa and Australia. What are the major similarities and what are the major differences between the two countries' netball?
Look, I mean, South Africa, when I was there, was quite far behind, and we've caught up over the past few years a lot. We've started with a premiership called the Rugby Netball Cup, which creates a lot of opportunity for younger girls to play, and our school's netball is quite on a very high stage because we have a lot of tournaments like the top school netball tournaments that's going on. So, when I was in Australia, I played a lot of netball, but I actually played a lot more when I got back. So, we're kind of giving them a go at the moment, which is quite exciting. We're playing more tournaments as professional netball, as the tier netball players, which I didn't have at that stage. So, I was looking for more opportunities to play on a bigger stage, but at the moment, we're okay. We can play there at the moment.
So now then you branched off. You went from netball to playing sevens rugby, which is completely on the opposite side of the spectrum. But what did you take from netball that you could utilize in sevens?
Footwork and a lot of hard work. Definitely the ball skills as well. I played prop, so I had to take some of the balls out of the air from the kickoffs and stuff like that. So it was tough, the toughest thing I've ever done in my life. And it still scares me up to today, but in a good way, challenging me to be, better. So definitely the hard work and the ball skills helped me a lot.
You played on World Rugby's HSBC World Sevens Series as part of the Lady Springbok team. What is your experience? What was your experience of playing on that circuit?
Sometimes, for me, it's quite surreal. When I got to my first tournament in Atlanta, if I think back to it now, it's still kind of a blur because I don't think my brain actually knew what I was going through. The sport in that scale was just phenomenal, and I was playing, and I was part of a group of girls who were professional athletes. They all looked like professional gymnasts, which you'd think actually rugby players is quite big and strong and stumpy, and they're not. I was actually one of the bigger players on the tour. So for me, I mean, just playing on that stage was just an absolute dream come true. I still can't believe I had that opportunity. It's just
Sunelle, it's a travesty to call you just a netball player or just a sevens player, because it's not, those are not the only sports you participate in. You hold the 500-meter indoor rowing record in South Africa, and you're in the top 10 for obstacle racing.
yeah.
Where did all this talent come from? Because they're quite diverse sports. I mean, they're not linked in any way. So where did all this talent come from?
For me, it was more, I always grew up watching professional netball players all over South Africa, especially in South Africa. I know we had a lot of international stars that were our idols, but when I grew up, we didn't have a lot of internet and international exposure. So for me, we only had our South African, and I remember Dominique Donner, which was a triathlete. So we had magazines like Sports Illustrated where they featured some of our South African sports stars, and I was always looking at that and thinking, I know they focus on one sport, but I would really like to be that person that basically pick up a sport and do it. So that was kind of my vision. So I was stuck. I think I was stuck a bit with netball. It took a lot of my time. Over weekends, training each day, different teams that we're training for. At one stage, I was playing Rugby Cup, Paul Netball Club, and like a South African under 21 or under 19 team. So it took a lot of my time. This year, I think my focus was more just to explore what I can do with my sport, because when I got the call up for the Springbok Sevens, I knew I had something, or they saw something in me, and I was always dreaming on being a bigger sports star, bigger than just one sport. So I had to give it a go, which is quite scary sometimes, and people always tell you that you've got to do something that's busy. So I think that was kind of my way of pushing myself to the next level. So the indoor rowing was kind of part of our gym, and John McGraw is the trainer that I trained with. He's the owner at the gym that I coached, and he was an Irish rower, and he told me that I could be a very, very good rower, which is actually one of my dreams. I'd love to be an international kayak, do some kayaking or rowing. So I think that was maybe the first step into that direction. Definitely next year doing the Fish River Marathon, the canoe marathon. The obstacle course racing is a big challenge, but I think more for me just the running part is the kind of the part that I love, and the obstacles just add some basically obstacles to the way. So I wanted to try and do some triathlon because I can run. Everything from the running comes a bit more natural. So I've got a lot of stuff that I think I want to try out and see what I can do. I don't want to get stuck in one sport, but I will give the netball a go. But that doesn't mean I'm going to make the mistake of just doing that next year. So yeah.
Well, looking at your achievements so far, there's little doubt that you will succeed in whatever you put your mind to. So now, as we end off, there's no doubt that you are a role model and an inspiration yourself, having achieved so much across so many different sporting platforms. If you had a special message for the next generation of female athletes, whatever sports they are pursuing, what would you say to them?
Look, we are blessed with talent beyond our imagination. If you're stuck in one place, you won't really know what you can do. So for me, what I learned, especially the past years, you have to put yourself out there. You have to give yourself some challenges, try different sports, try different situations in your sport that you can find what works for you. And hard work beats talent any day. So if you put your mind to it, find people that can help you make your dreams a reality, the right people that's good for you, that can put you in the right direction. Get that people on board and use the opportunities that come your way. There's always opportunity. You have to get your head up. And you're going to fail more times than you actually want to succeed. But you have to be ready when the opportunity presents itself for you to take it and run with it. You have to be ready. So you have to be fit. You have to be on it all the time. And that's what works for me. So yeah, don't stop working.
Sunelle, Gammon Magazine would like to take this opportunity to thank you so much for spending some time with us as we learn more about your different sporting codes, and we wish you all the best in your future endeavors.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me. Also, nice to speak to you guys.
Thanks, Sunelle.